And by DuPont Corian, used in commercial and residential applications worldwide, including new applications like furniture, lighting, and architectural details. Corian, looking beyond the surface for ways to express your design and performance needs.
Made possible by Hartco Quality Wood Flooring Company, makers of Pattern Plus 5000 and other sliced cut hardwood flooring products.
Hi, I'm Mitchell McDaniel, and welcome to today's Classic Homes. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that two of the most important rooms in the home today are the kitchen and the bathroom. And since we've completed our wonderful kitchen project here at Harlow House, it was time we turned our attention to one of its 7 bathrooms. Now, granted, we've come a long way from lugging buckets of water up from the well for the weekly bath. In fact, many homeowners today have turned the bathroom into an extension of their living space, a space where hot tubs, televisions, and telephones have transformed what was a purely functional room into a very relaxing and sometimes personal sanctuary. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing to one of the bathrooms here at Harlow House. And on today's program, we'll show you how we did it.
Also, we'll travel to Kohler, Wisconsin, and take a tour of an interesting museum dedicated to the history of plumbing fixtures in America. And later, we'll show you some bathroom designs from homes built at the turn of the century and how bathrooms are being designed for the 21st century.
So stay with us. We'll get started after this. One of the greatest challenges that architects, designers, or builders face, other than kitchen remodeling, is bathroom remodeling or restoration. Here in this home we have 7 bathrooms, but this one is really the focus of our attention because we have to incorporate a space that's going to lead us from our south master suite into a new converted dressing area or sitting area for the homeowners. We have to remember too that by today's standards, people are wanting to create a retreat, just not a bathroom. So we had to make some changes here. And we had to really look carefully at what we had to work with. There really wasn't anything in here of architectural significance that we really had to save or that we had to maintain. So what we did was we had a wall here that separated the existing bathroom from this little dressing area. We removed that wall and the vanity that was here. And now we're going to take advantage of this area underneath this window by incorporating a little dressing area. This wall then, between these 2 windows, will incorporate a new console or lavatory, possibly with a mirror, some sconces for lighting. And one of the interesting features of this bathroom was that originally it had a bathtub, but now it doesn't. We had some built-in cabinetry there. So we're going to take advantage of this space. We've removed the cabinetry, and this area is where we're going to incorporate our new tub, so that the homeowners can take advantage of this wonderful view and the breeze coming off the ocean. Now over in this area, we have a toilet and a hand sink basin. The toilet area is going to remain, and we're going to remove the basin and incorporate a bidet here. Next to that is this cavernous and claustrophobic shower that we have. We're going to demo that, raise the ceiling, and install some new plumbing fixtures. And then over here on this wall, it's going to allow us to put in another console, another lavatory, with possibly a mirror and some other sconces. Of course, that'll mean changing the hinge on this door so it swings the other way. But the main reason for this work was to create a flow pattern between our master suite. If you look through the bathroom windows, you see the master suite beyond. We wanted to create a flow pattern between that bedroom, our new bathroom here. We tore down this wall so that we can gain access into what was once a bedroom, which is now going to be the new dressing area / retreat. So we're able to bring this bathroom, so to speak, into the 21st century. But what were bathrooms like at the turn of the century? To give you a better idea about the history and evolution of bathrooms, we toured a museum dedicated to nothing but the evolution of plumbing fixtures. Take a look.
About 100 years ago, somewhere near this pastoral landscape in southeast Wisconsin, a farmer decided to make an old hog scaldar into a bathtub, and the rest is history. We talked with Cindy Halley about the evolution of the bathroom and the effect these changes have had on the way we live today.
Mitchell, here are some examples of some of the earlier plumbing products. This is an actual lav from the early 1900s. You can see it's attached by a bracket to the wall.
We see that used quite often today.
That's right. Some of the earlier products were very decorative as well as functional. This has 2 different types of material surfaces. This is a granite top with the vitreous china lav inside, of course, with your hot and cold water spigot. Here's an example of one of the earlier toilets. You can see that has some very decorative patterns embossed on it. Here's one of the earlier bathtubs. This is actually one of the original bathtubs from the late 1800s.
Is that right?
A farmer had requested that it be enameled. It was actually a hog trough scalder, and he wanted it enameled and then put a rolled rim on it and some legs, and voila, we have the bath.
Well, originally, I guess they still had to fill it with water, though, because they didn't have indoor plumbing.
That's correct. That's correct. Here's one of the first toilets that were ever manufactured. You can see it's all wood. Of course, there is a liner inside,
Yeah, copper liner to hold the water.
and the flushing mechanism was down below.
Well, there's a lot of new technology that we use today that we can see here, but the manufacturing process, was it still basically the same?
Very innovative. Let me show you something about that. Enamel cast iron is one of the more popular materials for plumbing products. Here's one of the earlier baths. You see the design is kind of the flat top.
Rounded edge, I guess, so this was open on the end, up against the walls with the skirt in the front,
That's right. You'll see a lot of these same products in homes today.
but very durable surface. This is enamel.
Very, very durable. Still manufactured today. The other material is vitreous china. Here's an example of one of the earlier molds. They're handmade molds.
These are made out of plaster?
That's right, and then the slip is added to the molds in the factory. The mold is sealed, it's dried, sprayed and trimmed, and then baked.
Well, there's still a lot of hands-on work in even making these today, isn't there?
There is, although the designs in the 20s changed quite a bit. We started to see the freestanding rolled rim baths, such as this one.
Prior to that, there's flat areas, and they were really mounted on the wall. This one really comes out into the room, and the fixtures would be mounted on the wall.
That's right, or they could be mounted directly on the bath, as this one is. This is a small 5-foot version.
So they had a variety of sizes available, floor mounts, some on feet. What about the
Shape,
lavatories?
sizes. The lavatories, again, you started to see many different options. They had different sizes, different shapes. This actually has a shower head with the hot and cold, with the shower curtain that goes around the top.
What's this little item here?
That's a thermostat.
Wow, new innovative products being introduced in the 20s, but here things are still basically white, very sanitary.
Right. People had a lot more choices, though. They started to decorate more with the products. We had sitz baths, different various sizes and shapes of shower basins, baths, lavs, pedestals, wall mounts, all different choices.
So we can see during the early 20s that people were really starting to accessorize and starting to decorate their bathrooms, becoming almost one of the focal points of the house.
Right. They were starting to make statements in their baths. And then in the late 1920s, color entered the picture, which gave them many options. Here are some very good examples of color in the kitchen and bath. This is a green kitchen sink. You'll see it's a very large size. It has the integral dishwasher in it.
Well, now that's very unique for the 1920s. This must be one of its kind.
Very innovative. You have the integral basin,
The drain board and the backsplash.
and there's storage area that you could hide this actually with a curtain and put things underneath.
I've seen that done many times.
Here are some of the earlier pastel colors. We have a pastel yellow toilet and also the lavender.
I don't think I've really seen the lavender before. Our bathrooms are more subdued, a lot of the pink and the salmon, but the tile, the walls, and the fixtures are here again all the same color. I don't think they were up to really mixing them at that point, probably because of the availability.
Right, now we have so many different options available to the consumer. People can mix and match different products. They can customize their bathroom to meet their needs.
Well, it's becoming more of a focal point, though, of homes today. I mean, here back in the 20s and the 30s, the kitchens and the bathrooms were very utilitarian in form. And now with the introduction of new technology, we're sort of opening up that envelope, and now they become almost the focal point of the home.
Exactly, which was once a 5 by 7 foot bath is doubled in size, and people are adding customized showers and dual basins for washing, and it's just amazing where people are taking the bath.
Well, where is it going to go from here?
Well, I think we'll continue with customization. There's additional colors available, textures available. Designers have a lot more options to work with, and it's just going to grow from here.
Back at Harlow House, work is underway in our new bathroom. Let's take a look at what we've done. The original bathroom, although changed many times over the years, was still functional but outdated. The first step was the removal of the wall, which allowed us to adapt a more open floor plan. The lath and the plaster on the walls was removed to allow for our upgraded electrical and plumbing. To cover our walls, we're using a product similar to drywall, but unlike drywall, it has a waterproof membrane designed specifically for use on shower stalls, tub surrounds, and other areas of high moisture. Fiberglass tape is used for any joints, and thin set is required in place of joint compound. Large sections of the original flooring had to be removed to run our new plumbing and electrical lines. So, wire lath and cement were used to establish a proper setting bed for our new tile floor, which would be installed over the existing floor.
We've already started with the installation of our crown mold here in the master bath, and I have to say it looks great. We're using a product that's actually a polyurethane product, but we like working with it because of a few reasons. One, it has some nice details on it, comes in a variety of styles. It also comes pre-finished, so it's going to save a lot of time with your painters to get up here having to sand wood, and they won't have to sand this. It's also lightweight, and it has about the same density of pine. But the interesting way that this is installed is that they install it with glue and just pin nails, and we're getting ready to finish our corner up here. Let me show you how that's done. Now, I like to install crown by taking the length and transferring it down the wall. Here we had a length of about 8 5/8, and you see we've popped our lines all the way around. We're getting ready to cut in our corner, so just take a measurement from our last piece to the outside corner. Here's about 14 3/8. And I'll take it and transfer it here over to the bottom of this piece, and I'll show you how to cut it. With most large moldings, sometimes you have to make a jig, and that's what we've done here using 3/4 inch plywood. We've cut a 90-degree angle in it and a left and right 45. So what we'll do is we'll take our mark and transfer it here to the front, and we'll line it up, keeping it flush with the top of our jig here, because that's our ceiling height. And here's our base height that will be marked on the side of that wall. We'll line these 2 points up there and go ahead and cut our right 45 in place. Holding that down. Now with that corner cut, we need to match it to our other piece. Now these have a pattern repeat on them of about 16 inches, but what we'll do here, we have this part of this little acanthus leaf. We'll measure over from our cut 3/4. We'll transfer that mark over to this one at 3/4 as well, and we'll make the same cut on this one as we did this. Then we're ready to form our 2 corners together. One of the great advantages about using polyurethane molding is the fact that you don't have to nail it up to the studs. The key element is the adhesive. So what we'll do along this line, we'll put it on the wall, and we'll actually run a bead along our other piece. And you notice that it has little dowels in it coming out. Those dowels are for lining up the pieces, and I'll go ahead and stick one in there and get a little adhesive on it. Now on the other piece that we're going to match to it, I'll go ahead here, Tim, hold this so I'll put adhesive on the top part of it. A bead along the top, and that'll help adhere it to the ceiling. Now what we'll do is we'll match these pieces up. Now these have holes in them here, if you'll notice, to help line up with those dowels. We'll go ahead and set this up in place. Just push it right together there, nice and tight. Now you're going to get a little of the excess glue coming out, and you'll see it, and that's a good sign because that lets you know you got enough on there. Now we're going to push it up to the bottom of our blue line here and actually just tack it in just to hold it in place until the adhesive sets. The most important is that you need to keep good pressure on this joint because that's what's going to help the glue adhere from one piece to the other. And we'll do the same thing along this next line over here for our piece that's going to match into our corner.
Just remember, it's the adhesive that holds the product to the wall and ceiling, but any nail holes should be filled using a vinyl-based spackling, and terminations at the wall and the ceiling should be sealed using a siliconized acrylic caulk. Classical elements like our new crown molding harken back to the turn of the century, when bathrooms were moved inside the home, a luxury usually afforded only by the very rich. Then as now, sanitary, easy-to-clean surfaces were the standard, although very few bathrooms today have walls of marble. Electricity, still in its infancy, offered early designers a chance to add interesting details. And if you've ever wondered where the expression about being on the throne came from, well, here's one possible source. Two wonderful turn-of-the-century bathrooms have been preserved at this Beaux-Arts-style mansion in Cincinnati. Elaborate and elegant tile work sets the tone for both bathrooms. This one featuring delicate hand-painted borders of irises. The other bathroom incorporates a more neoclassical design with intricate gold and white gold ornamentation on the frieze, a color scheme echoed in the tile work on the walls and floor. Taps for hot and cold water were available, as was a tap for rainwater, collected perhaps in a cistern. At Ruth Mere in Indiana, the master bathroom again featured tile and marble, as well as a host of luxuries of the day. A full body shower was built in, as was a urinal, and the latest in bathroom accessories.
Wow, the tile setters are doing a great job here in the master bath. You know, we wanted to create an old world feel here in this bathroom, something that's reminiscent of the turn of the century. And I think we've been able to do that. This area here is where our sink is going to be. It's a large console sink. So we've installed a mirror, or what will be a mirror here, and a nice little shelf. But let me show you some of the details that we had the opportunity to work with. Down here in the wall, we wanted to create sort of a wainscot effect. So we took a 13 by 20 inch, which would normally be a floor tile, and stood it up vertically. And then we wanted a transition piece between this and our 6 by 13 tiles that are installed in a running bond pattern. To do that, we installed this nice little 1-inch round over, and it pulls the color from both these tiles quite well. And to trim it off at the top, we used a nice little decorative cap, which pulls in the detail, as you can see from the acanthus leaf that we used in the crown molding. We also had a little place to set knickknacks, of course, so we did a nice little shelf, here again using the same kind of tile that's in the cap. And we had to have a mirror. We used these nice little accent tiles, these 6 by 6 accent tiles, and then we'll have our mirror cut in there. Later on, we'll have our sconces installed on each side of it. But you know, you see a tile work like this, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a tremendous amount of skill. Brian, I believe you spent more time laying out this work than you have actually completing it.
That's correct. We had a lot of problem with our layout. We had to make sure, because the floor was at a level, we had to
just
make
a little bit, old house.
Yes, and we had to make sure that from the higher point, we took our level line around.
Yeah, well, this had to maintain the same elevation all the way around the room.
That's right.
See, we got a line pop there, and so we've been able to accomplish that. It looks great.
Yeah, and above this, we had a nice deco trim. We don't have it right now for some reason.
I know, it's coming. I got the news yesterday. It's in Savannah going through customs. I mean, it had to come all the way from Italy, you know, on the slow boat.
Well, we understand. We took care of that. We just
You
put a
can put
spacer.
that in later?
That's right.
Okay, good.
And so above that, we have a nice design going up
Yeah, it looks great.
with a miter joint around the corner.
Okay, well, yeah, rather than put a molding in there that would break it up, I like these nice miter joints. They're very old world appeal.
It flows real nice. But we also had to take into consideration the height. We didn't want to cut any pieces. So
Yeah, we didn't want to cut any of these field tiles.
That's right. So our cap had to flow correctly, not above our door jambs, and correctly across the opening.
The opening of the shower. I tell you, well, that's the decorators, but you're
I know.
scoring some points with them.
Yeah, it went nice.
It does.
But right now we're trying to finish it up on the second mirror. I know you do some tile work, so why don't you jump in so we can get done today?
Now, you want to go home early?
Oh yeah.
I'll start cutting for you then.
While Brian and I finish up the tile work, let's go back to Kohler, Wisconsin, and take a tour of a modern kitchen design center with Cindy Howley.
Well, the designers take each of the rooms and they visualize themselves in a different setting. In this case, the designer visualized himself in a Paris apartment, and he put the bath on the second level. The bath is reminiscent of the earlier claw-footed tubs that we've seen in the early 19th century. The wonderful console table has a marble top and brass legs and gives this whole room a very timeless feeling. So Mitchell, what do you think of this space?
Well, this is great. I mean, I was in Paris, and now I'm in Rome. I'm getting to travel around the world in bathrooms.
This space has a very classic feel. The designer has used a lot of different textures to capture what's a very unique space.
I especially like the way the bowl is situated on the glass. It's sort of just suspended there.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of lavs that are above counter these days, and this is a unique textural glaze that has been used on this lav.
done a lot with the material there too. You've got a lot of marble or tile on the walls and on the floor, so it pulls it all together. It looks great.
She accomplished her mission by trying to make the space look larger. This bath has been designed to meet the needs of people who want to age in their homes. We're seeing a lot of baby boomers design their baths so that they're safe and comfortable in future years. In this case, the adjustable countertops make it very accessible for a young child or an older person who may become wheelchair bound for a certain period of their life.
So that's the reason for the flexible drains in there, so these countertops can be adjusted up or down depending on the age of the person or the ability of the person that's going to be using this bathroom.
Right, and looking at the space, it doesn't really appear to be an ADA space. It's a standard product, and the way it's been designed is to meet those needs.
Well, when you look at the tub area and the shower area, I mean, it's very ultra-modern in its appearance, but it's functional as well.
It's very functional. It has grip rails throughout the space. The valves of the shower are very accessible. Water can be free-flowing without damaging anything. It's just a very functional space. Well, we'd all like to have large baths, but not all of us have that. This is an example of what you can do with about a 5 by 7 foot space.
You know, we find that that's the average space for an average bath in homes built in the early 80s through the 70s. So this lends itself to some remodeling projects that are taking shape all across America today to try to take advantage of the space that we do have.
Right, and in this case, the designer took very good advantage of that space in trying to make it feel larger than it actually is. The color chosen for the product lends itself to this space very well, the console table with the brass legs, and the small bookcase.
Well, bathroom designs have certainly come a long way since first being introduced into the home. In the early part of the 20th century, when bathrooms were becoming an integral part of the home's design, people became more concerned about cleanliness. They had realized that germs breed diseases. So the preferred color for most bathrooms was white because, well, it looks sanitary. Today, designers and manufacturers are combining the nostalgic look of the past with the latest in technology. Tile has borrowed from the look of stone, and our floor and wall design harkens to the past when baths were designed to be very sanitary. The wallpaper and the molding helps to soften this environment with color and a touch of classicism. Electricity has replaced candles and gas, but the look and feeling of these elements remain. And despite many efforts to reshape sinks, many of today's designs copy old styles. A contemporary lavatory and valves look very similar to the fixtures from the early 20th century. The brushed chrome trim and legs, very clean look, and large basin with all the accessories complete the look. Toilets have incorporated designs of the past as well. This one has a contemporary low profile, but a top flush handle, very European. The bathtub has changed very little through the years because we haven't changed and tubs were designed to fit people, or more than one in this case. This cast iron beauty features all the state-of-the-art features, fully equipped with a 2-horse pump, electronic switch, integral heater, and 5 variable flow jets. So it may seem that the more things change, the more they remain the same, as long as we don't sacrifice modern convenience.
Our original bath was very confined, and the colors of the tile and fixtures were very dated. Our new design incorporates period detail, but also adds space in a more functional and friendly environment.
One of the great industrial designers of the 20th century was Henry Dreyfuss, and he stated that people will readily accept something new if they recognize it in something from the past. And how true that is today. Our bathroom clearly reflects that old world charm without sacrificing any of the comforts that we've come to expect.
On our next program, we'll be looking at the architectural details on our walls and ceilings. Yes, you can duplicate classical details with modern budgets. And speaking of classical details, don't miss our tour of Rosecliff in Newport, Rhode Island.
For today's Classic Homes, I'm Mitchell McDaniel. I'll see you next time.
Funding for today's classic homes has been made possible by the following corporations.
This program is made possible by Pella, makers of classic windows and patio doors, bringing you style and innovation since 1925.
And by your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. With paint, stain, wallpaper, and decorating ideas, Sherwin-Williams can help you create all the looks you've imagined.
And by DuPont Corian, used in commercial and residential applications worldwide, including new applications like furniture, lighting, and architectural details. Corian, looking beyond the surface for ways to express your design and performance needs.
Made possible by Hartco Quality Wood Flooring Company, makers of Pattern Plus 5000 and other sliced cut hardwood flooring products.
To order a copy of this program, please call 1-800-256-4408 or send $19.95 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Please specify episode number 207 when ordering.
This is PBS.